Welcome back, guys. And, yeah, back from break. Travis. Not Travis. Jimmy, take it away.
Old
Adam,
habits, man.
Steven, Neil.
Cool. Yeah. Welcome back, guys. So, yeah, you're on a shuttle, formerly of the RSS Saint Sebastian, which is quite
Now
disintegrated in space.
Blammo.
You've now got quite the armed escort on your way to Dada.
Yeah, so I'd like
Fortunately
to
or
talk
unfortunately?
to the party about this on our way. So I look at them and I say, okay, so this isn't turning out quite how I planned. So here's what I see as our options. One, we can land and keep up with the cover story and see where it goes. Two, we can land and tell them that we feared there were listening devices on our transmission because of what happened and tell them the truth. That might be pretty believable. Three, we can do a maximum burn and get shot out of the sky because they're way better armed than us.
Let's not get shot out of the sky.
Option
Yeah,
two,
we're
please.
probably faster with our booster pack, but
Option two.
option two.
We're gonna go option 2, and no one is to open fire on these guys.
Margie, unless you know there's some...
difficult.
Unless you really push this engine, you would know that maybe not the patrol boat, the Bastion, but the fighters are by nature faster than you and this close to a system.
Oh, right, they launched a bunch of fighters. You know what? Option 3's out, so...
Wait,
Yeah.
what
Fighters
about
are much
opening?
faster than you guys.
Who's talking about opening fire? No one's shooting.
No, I meant when we, that's what I mean. Like, if they take out weapons, you let them take out weapons. We're not fighting.
Oh,
these
well,
guys.
no shit.
I'm
That's
Duh.
a station
Yeah.
full of people.
I'm
There's
not
only
gonna-
4 of us.
We didn't get on the shuttle just to die when we land.
My point
No,
exactly.
no, we did not.
Maddie, you've been here a couple
I
of
have.
times. Do people carry around sidearms?
Can I do like a knowledge data?
Well, no, she's been there, so
yeah,
Jimmy,
she should
they-
know.
Yes. It's not uncommon for sidearms to be
Yeah.
Okay.
seen,
I'm
So-
assuming,
especially associated with ships.
I'm assuming some people do, some people don't. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
if
of
they-
course.
You wouldn't see like a
If they-
lowly
yeah.
cargo unloader have a big like gun around, but there are weapons around.
yeah. If
Anybody
they, if they
can-
take us
side.
off the ship, though, it's up to them. Whatever they
The
want.
sniper rifles might get a glance. They're not gonna. Well, if you guys were landing under ordinary circumstances, they probably wouldn't do more than just glance askew at your sniper rifles, plural. But who knows what's going to happen in this situation, right?
Yeah, so I say we leave the big guns at home, but if we have any pistols or stuff, like, don't look like you're disarming yourself because it's because we're suspicious, you know? You got a
Can I
pistol,
just-
keep the pistol on you. I'm
Jimmy?
keeping my knife.
I just want
Mhm.
to disassemble my sniper rifle at this point. Break it down so it's carryable without it being.
Yeah, but then
I'm-
you're gonna have a
Bad.
bunch of sniper rifle parts.
No, I mean, like, so I can carry it around, but not being like
He has a
a
briefcase.
threat or noticeable. Yeah, well, I do sort of. Then
I
we're
have-
trying-
I
I'm
have
still
my
I'm
semi-automatic
still here,
pistol
but
on
my camera's kind of freaking out. So
Okay.
Oh no.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
just
I can.
reassemble my sniper rifle later if I have to.
Yeah. I think disassembling it would be okay.
Yeah.
Space
just
Master
cargo
is
then,
just
right?
a dog on the
Yeah,
overlay.
it's just a gun that I carry that I can't fire.
Yeah, but you're... Do I see him doing this? I would assume so.
Yeah, it's a pretty small. I mean, I guess I don't want to sit in, but
Yeah,
I would
so
assume-
I look at Leon and I'm like, are you gonna take that with you? Because that
I ain't
still look
leaving it
kind of
behind.
suspicious, you know?
What, a disassembled sniper rifle? Nothing suspicious about it.
nothing.
I can just say I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
That's
Right after,
suspicious.
you assassinate
That's
the president.
suspicious.
Just
Leon,
saying.
Leon, look, just leave the rifle in here.
I just like, no. I'm sorry, I'm not leaving my sniper rifle behind. It's disassembled, it's not a threat, it won't be suspicious.
I'm leaving
it's
my
like-
I'm leaving my combat rifle behind because you know
I
what?
believe
That
my
would be
laser rifle.
suspicious.
Okay, so I guess more important than the sniper rifle is, are we going with story 1 or story 2?
Story
Story
2.
two.
Also,
Story 2.
I was gonna say, what's more important than the sniper rifle? What are we doing with the cargo?
Oh,
Uh,
it's our reason for landing. So
yeah.
we just pretend we're just a delivery service.
Are we taking that? I mean, if they're
Also
gonna do any.
taking it.
Well, I mean, I'd rather have it on us, so they have to physically take it from us. Because if we can't lock the ship to the point where they can't get in.
We got what if they want it, they've got it. Because either if we leave it on the ship, they take it off the ship, or they take it off us. It doesn't really matter. One way or the other, if they want it, they'll take it from us. Same thing with our guns. That's why I'm just disassembling it.
Okay, it's fine. I'm
Sure.
leaving my rifle here. You're doing the same, Selfie?
Yeah, I'm leaving my combat rifle here.
I'm leaving my sniper rifle and just taking my pistol, sidearm.
Keep the pistols. I got my knife. We're not gonna look like well, this all looks the same. So
Yeah,
His story was suspicious. We should have just told him we were attacked by pirates. But oh well.
that's what we're gonna do. Option 2, right?
well,
Yeah. Option 2 would have been better if it was option
necessarily
1.
pirates, because
Didn't
why
do
would
that, though.
pirates have a tracer on us?
I mean, we don't
think
have to
they're
say
pirates.
pirates. We can just say they attacked us. We didn't know what was going on. We're scared.
But then they're gonna ask who attacked. It's just easier
No,
to say
what they're
pirates.
gonna ask is what we have that other people would want.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, if they ask us who the pirates, we don't know. That's the truth right there.
Selfie,
Yeah.
we can't go with pirates because our explanation for lying is that we thought the shuttle was bugged.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying don't even say. And Leon asked if they're going to ask us who attacked us. We don't know, so it doesn't matter. We're not going to
Okay,
say
say-
anything.
Just go with we don't know.
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so they attacked the Paculos. We got out, or the Saint Sebastian, sorry.
Yeah.
We got out, and we don't know what happened. Do you think they'll try and confiscate our cargo then?
That's what I'm
Oh,
worried
boy.
about.
And that's why-
Yeah, and I can't say they
So
would or
we
wouldn't.
say
so-
we're a subgroup, or we're a group subcontracted to deliver this specific piece, and we're still on that mission.
We could just say that we're under orders by the captain to deliver this package.
But what happens if they ask what's in it?
We'll just say
we told him
only
the
the
truth.
captain knew.
Yeah, we told them the truth.
We don't know. The captain knew. That's it.
We were
Okay,
hired to deliver it, and that's all we're doing.
that's what we'll do. Okay,
All right.
well, let's
You guys good?
I guess see how this plays out. Yeah.
All right.
Last question: should I keep doing the talking since I've started, or
Mm,
Yes.
want to fuck to some?
I
Yes.
trust you to talk to them.
You're
Just-
personable,
Just don't
Margie.
put us in a
I like
situation
you.
again.
I like you.
Let's just make sure that we don't have to change stories midway again.
Yeah. Okay, take us in, Mr. Leon.
Do it up.
Make it so.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys, you don't have to wait very long. Actually, you see coming out of your HUD display, it's not more than half an hour before you see the first twinkle that starts as a star and then grows into a massive conglomeration of what is like 5 or 6 enormous, like, they look like 300 years ago in our time, it would have been like the bones of like these like large 19th century vessels that would have crossed the Atlantic Ocean or like gone around the world trading with, Japan or the, other places in Southeast Asia. I mean, these are like enormous ships on a scale that you guys don't normally see, not flying around anyway, and they're combined together. So it's this massive trade port. But there's a tech level 4 technology built on top of these old hulls. So you've got this sort of mishmash of old and new. Like old, the materials are kind of cobbled together from the old ships, but also modern conveniences, quote unquote modern conveniences like docking, docking equipment, environmental regulators, artificial gravity, etc. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. In your shuttle, it's been the 0G.
Oh,
So
cool.
you guys have been floating around. I actually meant to
that's
say
kinda
that at
awesome.
first. Yeah.
That's
Sorry about
even
that.
better.
Yeah, you
Cool.
this whole time you've been floating around the whole time.
I
No one
imagine
get
that gif of the Shibe like floating through the space thing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you're given coordinates and instructions. It's in computer form, it's not verbal, but instructions from the Bastion about where to dock. You see some clearance codes get broadcast from your ship, not necessarily of your own volition, but clearance codes get broadcast to your ship and then back out again. Seems all standard procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And you're brought to one of the smaller bays that, as Allison said earlier, like you described it right. It's sort of like it's a big dome, and it sort of opens up like an eyelid or an iris or something. And you guys descend in. It's all automated, and the fighters are right above the docking area until it closes again.
Wow, that's not ominous at all.
And then you all get shot up and die.
You get a message actually as you're still going through docking procedures to say the Captain Giannopoulos comes on and says, Arrow 1, thank you. This is Captain Giannopoulos. Thank you for your cooperation. You will be greeted out of the service bay. Have a good day.
I just give it like an acknowledge thing, basic knowledge.
Sure. You do notice, well, you actually wouldn't notice this, yes. So you go through normal procedures, and in a couple minutes you receive a notification from the base that the cargo hold is pressurized and has atmosphere. So
Okay, so
what do you do?
as like I touch down, I immediately start touching the computer stuff, and I want to bring up optical images of everything around us.
It's a normal, what you would assume is a normal cargo bay. I mean, smaller than some, obviously larger ships don't dock this way. They don't go into a contained bubble. They are, they establish passageways between their cargo holds, so they kind of dock in a port. This is...
Any guards or soldiers around?
Not yet. You literally just pressurized. So if they were in the place ahead of time, they would have had to be in vac suits. But as you're pulling things up, I mean, you do see sensors. There's probably what you think is a couple turret weapons just on the standby. Standard
give it a
security,
minute.
very standard security measures.
Yeah. So I give it a minute or two as like, it takes a while for us to get off the ship and whatnot. And
Yeah,
I do
are you guys waiting around on the ship, the whole party, or are you guys just getting off immediately?
I mean, once stuff pressurizes and we take a couple minutes to gather ourselves, I'd say, okay, let's hope this goes well, yeah? Selfie, you want to grab the case?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, let's go. I
Okay, so
open our thing.
yep, and I do like the optical images one last time. I just want to see if I can get an image of like someone from the military force or something, just to see what they look like in terms of equipment and gear.
There's nobody you can see. There's nobody in your area. There's only one entrance and exit, unless you were rocket fuel. Unless you're hydrogen drill fuel, and can go through the piping system. There's only one human entrance and exit. So
Cool.
Okay, well, I stopped doing that then.
Yep. We open the door or drop the gangplank or whatever, and I just walk out toward the door.
yeah, so you,
Like, if
I'm
you
leading the
think
pack,
something
I guess.
yeah, that's good.
Leader of the pack.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Too quiet.
No, you
Yeah,
said you.
too quiet or just quiet?
It's quiet. It's not too quiet. I mean,
Okay.
you take what you will. You've been told to expect to be met, and you haven't been met yet. So
Yep. So I kind of like stop halfway there, look around, and kind of do like a, all right, and I just go all the way to the door.
yeah, so it's a blast door, basically a large cargo worthy. It's very wide, maybe an 18-wheeler's width across, very large. Because bigger ships than yours can still dock in this area, and you go and punch the exit command, and it says stand by and opens, and you see an
how many
armed
soldiers?
you see an armed party of 4 soldiers, and someone who's wearing some sort of officer rank, and then in the back somebody who's wearing greater rank who's looks pretty stern.
Male, female?
So,
So there's 2 officers. The higher ranked officer is male. He is pulling up something here. Is tall. He looks older, but definitely you can't really tell how old he looks. He might be older and in really good condition, or just prematurely
Like
gray
you.
but built. Yeah. He's
question.
muscular, etc.
So my question is their outfits or uniforms are similar to the ones that were on our ship, the 2 that got infected into space?
No, so the
Oh,
ones you
yeah.
the one
Those guys.
They're not in infiltration fatigues, Josh.
no the
No,
infiltrators were in full black basically.
Okay.
These are wearing the 2 officers are wearing uniform. The others or like dress uniform. The 4 soldiers who by the way have laser pistols at the ready. They're armed, but they're not pointing them like at your heads. They're just ready, and they're about 20 feet away from you guys at the door. So they're clearly guarding you, but not super threatening.
So I look at them and I say, "Gentlemen, I think you want a word with us. We'd like a word with you too. Shall we follow?"
We need to talk.
The officer, so the older officer doesn't move and doesn't respond. The younger officer steps forward and says, it's also a man, but a younger man, and he says, yes, right this way. We have some questions for you.
I imagine so. Lead on, please.
Does one quick nod, and goes in front of you. The 4 soldiers, if you guys all walk out, file in behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to die.
Yep.
So you guys are being escorted through so this is for Maddie as well as everybody else. You're in the upper city right now, or at least you would assume so. The upper city is where all the docking and cargo loading and unloading areas are.
Yep.
And it's nice. I mean, nice in the sense of it's technologically, there's no wasted space. There's nothing gratuitous around. It's clearly been designed for business and or military purposes only.
And nice, is it clean? It's well maintained.
It's brightly lit. It is well maintained. You see at regular intervals cameras that each one tracks you as you walk by until you get within range of the next one. You see, you actually see periodically near each especially each docking bay door that you pass, or what you assume to be docking bays, you see this. Actually, I'll put it in roll 20.
Okay.
A version of that, which you would know is the Emperor's Corp official logo. That's what they slap on ships that are flagged for them, as well as cargo that that originates from the spaceport.
Yep. And even if we haven't been here, we've seen that on cargo or ships. I assume.
It's ubiquitous because at some point cargo either passes through here or originates from here. So
Yep. Cool. So yeah, I don't say anything. I follow these guys.
Okay.
I'm
Anyone else?
silently following as well.
Yeah, going back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it takes about 10-15 minutes. You walk a decent way, and you're escorted to a room. Looks like it's white. There's some chairs and a table. I mean, it's your standard interrogation room. The soldiers wait for you to be all ushered in.
Yep.
He was a lieutenant. goes in front of you and gestures you to chairs. The older officer stands in the back of the room with you, but hasn't said anything yet. He's got his arms behind his back.
Sure.
And he says, the younger guy says, please sit. It'll be just a moment. He exits. The older officer exits, and you're alone for the moment.
Okay.
I stand. I don't sit. This is all making me nervous.
I sit.
Yeah, I kind of look at Maddie and kind of point to the chair.
Uh,
Come on, Maddie. If we play along,
I just give
Play
you
along.
like a very blank stare. Like if you don't, it's even more suspicious kind of stare. Like
He gives you a look.
he
the
gives you
guy
a
with
look.
I give
the
you a very
taken
specific
apart
look.
sniper rifle is telling me that standing looks
Yeah.
weird.
it's in a case. It's not like I'm carrying it around in me. Sniper rifles have cases to carry around like a holster as well, you know.
I hesitantly sit down.
You have a little satchel.
I
Yeah,
don't think it's the same as a holster. But...
it basically is a sniper rifle.
So
holster.
I sit there and kind of look around the room a bit, but I'm like concentrating on, okay, just look around curiously, try not to fidget, don't bite your fingernails, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
I just
hard.
roll.
It's hard to find anything interesting in this room. It's clearly designed for 31st century whatever. There's
Yeah.
nothing in it. You
21st
can't even see a one-way glass. Like it's just white walls, comfortable chairs, but it's just-
Cameras.
you can't see any.
Okay.
There might be stuff inset into the walls. You'd have to go and start poking around.
Yeah, no, I'm just sitting
Can
there
we see
waiting.
the?
It's
Can
like
we
a
see
12
the
by
door,
12
or is the
room.
door super flush with the wall? We can't even see
You
that.
can see it's flush with the wall. You can see the outline of it, and it's
Okay.
slightly. It has like an exit comm. You're not
Okay.
in a one-way door. You're not in a prison cell. No.
Okay. Okay.
And are the 4 guards inside or outside?
No, we're all alone,
You
right?
left them outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I just yawn
do we
and
sit
I just
down-
start doing.
Yeah, so Leon starts looking bored.
oh, do we
Yeah,
sit down
yeah, so I
at
look
the
forward, I
table,
just-
or the chairs? Like, you said there was a table.
Yep. Table and chairs.
So is it like four chairs on one side of the table, or?
There's 5 chairs, 1 at the head, and the 4 spread around.
Okay, I
Yep.
sit down one, not the head chair, but sit down at the chair.
Yeah, we sit on our side and wait for someone to come.
All right.
I literally draw noughts and crosses into the table with my finger, just yawning and being bored.
Sitting there like,
Oh.
when's someone gonna come in?
Oh, whoops! I did that wrong.
It's the same thing.
Okay, so about half an hour passes. You
Okay,
guys don't wanna stay-
at this point, I'm like emulating Leon. I'm just kind of like leaning my head in, like, God, this is taking a while.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you guys are getting bored clearly, but after a bit, finally you hear a light chime, and then the door opens, and in walks a middle-aged female, another officer, different from the one before, no one you've seen before. And you see the shoulder of one of the, presumably one of the guards outside the door before it shuts behind her. And
I
she
stand
walks in-
up as she comes in.
She says, "No, please sit. I'm Captain Ray.
Captain.
Sorry to have kept you waiting."
Oh, no, that's okay. You said it was Captain Ray?
Ray.
Sorry.
Captain Ray, yes. Captain, not as in a ship captain, but the military
Yeah,
rank captain.
Oh,
She says-
that's all right.
What
Yes,
can we,
she
what can
says
we do
she
for you?
she kind of busily looks over. She's actually got a little comm pad, a data slate, and sits down, takes a few notes for a second, then looks up and says, "Okay, I was assigned to this case because, well, we'll get into that in a minute. But can you tell me why you were not upfront about your point of origin?" And she's looking at you, Margie.
Our point of origin? We did
You're-
come out of Rima, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yeah. She says point of origin.
Yep. I kind of blink at her and I say, we did come out of Rima, but I'm guessing you're talking about the RSS Saint Sebastian. I apologize.
You're not a very good liar, are you?
Not very practiced, ma'am, no. I
Yeah.
apologize.
She holds up a hand for a second.
Okay.
And she goes, just know that when you're dealing with the Emperor's Corp and in the trade port of Data, security is our number one priority, and we will have known at least is pretty sure about from a scan of your ship, your point of origin, where you've come from, what ships you're associated with, and it'd be pretty hard to pass off that stripped down piece of junk for anything that could really handle extensive spike travel. You got me?
Oh, well, it is Spike Cape. But yes, of course. Ship techniques aside.
She raises her hand again, and then
I kind of give her like a...
and looks at Selfie and says, "You look pretty capable, and you there," pointing to Leon. You both look like the soldiering type.
I don't look capable.
She points to the men first and says, "We see you've got a disassembled sniper rifle there. What's your business on Data?"
Selfie face palms right now.
I'm like, I'm just here to deliver a package.
I came here
As
to
you know-
kill you.
As you know, you can never be too careful when you're escorting something, ma'am.
She stares for a minute and blinks and says to Selfie, "Well."
Same. We are hired. Deliver a package.
When you say same, she kind of cracks a little bit of a smile, but then puts it away and says, "Fair enough. So tell me about your journey here, you." And she points to Maddie.
My journey here? Well, I've been here before. I did some training here.
You're past 72 hours, girl.
If you don't mind,
Wow.
I'm kind of the acting captain here.
She
so-
raises her hand to you while looking at Maddie.
I'm sorry, apparently you didn't hear me, Captain Ray. I'm the acting leader of this group, so I'd appreciate if you addressed me. Thank you very much.
Got your
Just
credentials
face
on you?
palms.
She turns to you.
No, we kind of lost them when the RSS Saint Sebastian blew the fuck up. So how about we fucking talk a little bit?
She narrows her eyes and leans in very slowly and says, "You listen here, girl."
How old is she?
She's middle-aged. But she's hardened military and pretty high rank, too.
Yeah.
So she says, "You listen here, you little thing. I know that the RSS St. Sebastian is, and if you do too, you'd best have a good reason for lying about or trying to lie about where you came from, because there's a ship missing and people want to know where it went. All right?
Yeah,
So you
and,
play by my rules, or else you become even greater suspects than you already are.
Oh.
I'm trying to explain the whole situation.
I'm asking the questions here. We can make this less congenial if you want. She looks left to right.
Like at the
maybe
rest of
for the-
us.
No, towards looks around the room.
Oh, okay.
Like at the room itself. We can
I,
make this less.
I kind of shake my head and I say, apparently efficiency isn't a priority. By all means, Captain Ray.
Captain Ray looks back at Maddie and says, "How did you get here?"
Exactly as my friend here said,
You
pointing
spiked
to
jump-
Maddie.
She-
Or Maggie. Whatever the fuck your name is. What is
Margie.
it?
Margie.
Margie.
She rubs her temples and says, eyes closed, "You spiked jumped from Rima."
No,
No.
we said that because we were worried about surveillance equipment on our shuttle, which is what I would like to talk to you about if you have a second, Captain.
What do you mean, surveillance equipment?
We originated out of Rima on board the RSS Saint Sebastian. As you know, I'm sure, the the RSS Arrow 1 was cargo aboard the St. Sebastian.
Aye,
Cargo
we know that.
used to escape that when the St. Sebastian blew up.
And why didn't you claim asylum when a clearly legitimately marked patrol boat came to meet you?
Because the RSS St. Sebastian didn't blow up from a failed spike drive or a pirate attack. We were boarded.
Boarded.
Boarded. We didn't get a warning klaxon. They just came in and started shooting.
She stares a minute, but and then like opens her mouth to go on, and then closes it.
I assume you know when there's no warning klaxon, it means a ship that boarded you, they came in stealthed. So yes, I was worried about surveillance equipment. I would like to extend my apologies to Captain Giannopoulos for lying to her. I feel bad about that. But if they got aboard the ship without us knowing...
She's typing some notes on the data pad, and then when you apologize, she waves her hand off, and then looks up and says, "Stealth, you say? And you saw infiltrators."
There
Yes,
were
very
there were
close.
people in black fatigues and armor. They had, I think, mag rifles or mag shot... Heavy armaments. They had heavy armaments.
By the way, so it's a question that I'm not saying out loud. Like, it's a question for the
Go ahead.
GM
Go
as
ahead.
well. You said her name was Captain Ray.
Yeah,
Does she have
R-A-Y.
a like a name tag or anything like that says perhaps Elena Ray or something on her?
No. Coincidence.
No-
Coincidence.
Okay.
That's. I'm glad you have that noted, but it's coincidence. Ray is a pretty common. Often it comes from orphans. Ray being
Okay.
a common orphan name.
So,
So I just wanted to make sure that's all.
Yeah, that's fine.
so anyway, I look at her and I say, I don't know why the klaxons didn't go off. Obviously, if someone's stealthed and boarding you, maybe they... I don't know. Maybe they shut off the warnings. Maybe they had prior knowledge of the ship, which is why I was worried about bugs. Again, I apologize for lying. I'm trying to
Fix
I'm
the
trying to
situation.
help you out here, Captain.
And Captain, she looks kind of doubtfully at you.
Acting captain, mostly because the rest of the crew blew up with the ship. There
yes,
were 2 escape
acting captain. We are concerned about the crew out of a ship that, while being a Riemann flagged ship, that the captain was a Dada citizen. And we are doing everything we can to investigate this. You have
Of course.
introduced some variables we did not anticipate. We received a communique from the ship shortly before it self-destructed that there were maintenance problems after a spike jump. And there were certain system failures.
I mean, there were, but they're cutting into the ship is probably what was wrong.
Yeah, I assume that message was not sent by Captain Poppernick. I
Highly
assume it
doubtful.
was sent by the people with the mag rifles.
She leans back a moment and says, well, this doesn't answer our questions, but it's a little bit clearer. You know, this could have been all made straight if you had been up front to begin with.
Yes.
We here on the Dada Trade Port and the security services in particular are interested with security foremost for those who would wish to trade on this area.
Excellent, and I would politely request that if you have it available and have the time, if you could do a security sweep of our ship to make sure there are no listening devices, no backdoor equipment that was installed. We just jumped in it and flew. So if they got onto the RSS St. Sebastian, I don't know. It's been a stressful 27 hours.
Fair enough. Acting captain, you'd be pleased to know that the scan has already been completed and we didn't find any devices on it. That said, would be a question about whether the ship is indeed your property at this point, but I'm sure somebody from the legislative office will come and settle that with you.
Of course. I've worked with the Riemann government several times before. I would be happy to sort it out with them.
She kind of nods thoughtfully and then says, "Wait here, please." And she leaves, and you guys are alone again. And
I mentioned how we've been doing an awful lot of waiting lately.
I just like.
It's all right. If
That's-
they're going. Look, the Saint Sebastian blew up. They're trying to get to the bottom of it. I didn't even know Captain Poppernick was a Dada citizen. So.
Yeah, he didn't mention that when we were speaking with him.
Well.
And I look at both of them, and I'm like, sort of like face palming. I'm like, well, I understand you're frustrated, Margie. Antagonizing an officer is not necessarily the
Well,
best course of
you
action.
know, she wasn't being the nicest.
Yeah,
I
but
was trying
she's an
to explain
officer.
things to her.
Yeah,
So the fuck what?
or we would have been here another 2 hours. If she hadn't spoken up, she would have been asking each of us different questions in turn over and over again.
Yes, it's a classic interrogation technique. Nothing.
Yeah,
wrong
well,
about it.
I'm not
Okay.
military, so you'll excuse me for cutting through red tape and bullshit.
Just,
on the word bullshit, the door opens. It's actually only been like a minute or two. And you see
That was the key word.
the first officer you saw, the older man who you couldn't quite place his age. He was just
I again automatically stand up. It's a courtesy thing when someone enters.
he ignores you. He ignores everybody. He walks to the head of the table. He's got his arms behind his back and he stares down for a moment and then looks up and says, "Sorry to hear about your ship. Apparently you were on a courier mission."
So am I. Captain Poppernick was eccentric, but he's a good
But
man.
very nice. I'm glad that I had a drink with
He
him.
cuts off and says, "A drunkard."
I actually laugh at that because it's the
Yeah,
probably
it's
the
true.
most real thing I've heard in the last couple hours. Like,
Um,
yeah, he was, but Atzo was. Their chief engineer was a nice guy. I liked him.
He glares. He sort of narrows his eyes a bit and says, "You've given us some information, and we have no reason to doubt your account. The discrepancy of the Arrow one has been answered by your account, but we have some questions, or may have some questions again in the future."
Of course, we're going to be here while we're refueling and getting ready to go. Please call on us at any time.
May I assume that you already have quarters selected?
That wasn't really brought up on our way in here,
Yeah.
No.
We
so no.
a little bit busy on the way in.
He does one quick nod and produces a little card, actually old-fashioned paper. Hands it to you. It lays out some instructions, basically computer instructions to locate an address and say, these accommodations can be made available to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I assume we will go through someone less highly ranked for docking fees and procedures. And I kind of ask, like, because
He goes like this and says, it is not necessary. You do not own the ship, therefore you do not need to pay docking fees on it.
Okay.
I kind of narrow
Wonderful.
my eyes at that, and I say, that's true, but we're still under contract from the Riemann government, so I believe I needed to speak to legal about that.
You can take that up. If you need a reference for this occasion, you may indicate that Colonel Zaro had indicated as much. And he turns and walks out.
As he goes to walk out, I say, moment, Colonel. Would it be okay if we got the rest of our equipment off the shuttle before we left?
He stops and he turns back and he says, yes, of course. One of the soldiers outside will escort you, and then we'll ensure you get on one of the transports to the lower city. Selfie, you notice he's speaking, he's looking back at Leon, and that his eyes very briefly dart to the briefcase before going back to Leon and then facing forward again.
Okay.
I think we
Oh,
had
and I'm sorry, Maddie.
Yes.
You would know that Colonel Zaro is one of the 7 counselors, one of the
Oh.
7 of the rulers,
Shoot.
the head of security of the whole station. And arguably one of the most powerful people on Data. So
shit.
he's got his
It's
hands
totally
behind
a
his
joke.
back, and he gives a quick nod to a soldier to the left and to the right, and he walks down the hallway.
Colonel, if you wouldn't mind, is legal here in the upper city? I'm curious why we'd be asked to go to the lower city right away.
A soldier turns in, not the colonel, and says, "You can take your claims up down with the customs officials on Lower City."
Our claims. All right, escort the way, young man.
He's like an 80-year-old, like this is his retirement. Yeah.
Not Zaro, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, to speed through this part because it's mechanical. You guys collect your gear. Everything's in order that you can see from the shuttle, Arrow 1. There are some technicians crawling around it, but and a couple security guards, but that's about it. Unless you want to pull anything, you're basically escorted to the lower city and dropped off.
Nope, grab all my shit. You guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That was the whole point. We got all our shit.
Yeah.
Which is important.
All right. And Wang Boom, you guys are welcome to Data.
Yay.
Yeah, now we're in the shithole portion
So
of Data.
unlike the upper city, which was very functional, where everything was designed with function in mind, this is a hodgepodge of old and new. Obviously, these are built on the holes. So the upper city is actually it's a couple hour transport trip. The upper city is in very, very low orbit around the planet, while the lower city is actually in the very upper atmosphere of the planet. It's close, but there's a separation. And actually, the lower city, the upper city is maintained by kind of like thrusters, essentially, to maintain its orbit. But the lower city is operated by these enormous fans. And actually, you can actually see them, that the atmosphere is incredibly thick on Data, and actually they're run by fans that sort of propel it to this flying city, or what looks like a floating city. Imagine like the Lando's
Yeah,
Cloud City, but with no pipe that goes down.
Yeah.
Like,
It's more flat.
Yes.
I mean, uneven because it's a hodgepodge of shit.
right.
sewn
But
together.
it all seems to be held up by giant, for lack of a better term, fans, or like some sort of exhaust system turbines that push away a lot. You can see the atmosphere constantly churning underneath of it.
That feels safe.
Okay, so do we have any idea where we're supposed to meet our contact, Deanne or Eleanor, at all?
So
Yeah.
Elena
Ordnance
was your
or-
contact to deliver the cargo on Manisha when you get there.
We're looking
Do we
for
have-
Deanne Palmer.
You're
Yeah,
looking for
for Paul.
Deanne, unless something has changed in that you wouldn't think Elena's here. You don't really know Elena's role or anything about her.
Yep.
You just know that when the cargo's delivered, she will pick it up. Deanne was supposed to meet you. You didn't know where, but you assumed that when you docked with the RSS St. Sebastian that she would be there meeting you out of the gangplank, basically. But the St. Sebastian never came in, and it definitely didn't land where it was going to land. So
It landed in many different places.
Yeah, it's landed
Yes.
in a lot
At
of
many
places.
different times.
it's floating off in many directions for the next couple billion years.
Yep.
But you knew that she was going to arrange things for you on Data that I would say implied to you that what you were transporting was going to skip the regular customs channels.
Because that's what we did in Rima.
Yeah,
Smug-
exactly. To get the thing off, it was Rima is not much of a surprise that happened because, Margie, you would know that there was a government contact involved in delivering this package. So the fact that they can skip the regular customs channels is not odd necessarily, but the fact that you were supposed to meet a specific contact who would arrange everything kind of points to the same arrangement on Data.
Yep.
So we're looking for a government official.
Yeah, exactly.
Ship.
So, on our way to the lower city, were we escorted to the pod? Like, did soldiers come with us?
A soldier unarmed came with you. Or he has his weapon holstered, basically. Basically, you were just shown the way.
Yeah.
So that you didn't wander off anywhere and make any
Yeah.
trouble.
But I mean, on the 3-hour ride from upper to lower city, was there a soldier in the transport with us?
No, but there are other people. It's basically a bus.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
excellent. So, I kind of look at the group and I
That's
say,
a school
okay,
bus.
so, we are going to talk to legal. I have some contacts in the Riemann government. I don't think we're getting the Arrow 1 back, but
Why
it does
not?
hurt to try. To try.
Like, Margie, a question.
Yes.
How many ships have you owned before? Or piloted? Like,
Piloted?
fully owned. I guess fully owned a ship, I guess. I just sort of like,
I kind of look at you and I'm like, what? Why?
well, I've owned several ships
Okay.
before. Just because the captain died, it would make the Arrow 1 property of his next of kin. It's basic inheritance rights. We're not going to
Yeah,
get
or the Riemann government owned the ship and all the shit on it, and it might be the Riemann government's property. And if we're working for them, we can get it back. It doesn't hurt to try. It might not be that case, but it doesn't hurt to try.
Didn't the captain say that his ship was inherited by his family? He's been working on it.
Yeah, captaincy might have been inherited. Ownership? I don't know. Look, I'm gonna try. If we can't get it back, we can't get it back. I understand it might not be possible, but if you have the money to buy a ship, by all means, let's do it.
Oh, we could always just get another delivery mission. They'll get us a ship.
Yeah, you have to have a ship to take a delivery mission.
Let's
So,
do
No,
one
I
mission
mean-
at a time.
so I'm gonna try and get the ship back. If we can't, we can't. That's fine. But in that case, we need to book passage. In which case, why don't you, Leon, look into that? See what prices are to get to Manisha.
Well, I'm going to actually try and see if I can find some information about Miss Deanne.
Okay, well, why don't you and Selfie do that? Maddie, do you want to try and look up rates to get to Manisha if we don't meet up with Deanne? I mean, I
try.
agree we want to go with our contact, but
Yeah,
if shit's fucked up, might not happen. So,
this is true. This is true.
okay. And then I'll go to legal, and we'll see what excuse they use for not giving us the Arrow 1, probably, to be honest.
How about we meet here and say, 2 hours? Like,
Make it,
a random
make
place.
it,
Why don't
after we land, make it 4 or 5.
Why don't we just
Because
meet?
this might take a
Why
while.
don't we just meet where we know where we're gonna that card so we can get accommodations?
yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, so at that point I realize I still have this, and I go, "Oh, Maddie, you have a compad, right?
Yes, I do.
You want to look this up? Patch into the local, I don't know, navigation network or whatever.
Sugal Maps.
Pull up Sugal Maps.
Yeah.
Google Maps. I pull
No,
up
look
Google
up,
Maps.
I
on
like
my compact
Google
here.
better. Space Google.
TripAdvisor. I used it once. It was very helpful.
TripAdvisor.
Oh, do they have that here? That's awesome.
Actually, they basically do. There's a number of commercial providers for people who want to book passage into and out of data, and you can tap into one of those systems to see about flights to Manisha.
I can't tell if I like.
And by tap
Google
in,
Maps
you
or
mean
Manisha.
legally access, right?
Hacking.
Yes.
Request information from.
You load the website.
That's pretty sweet. What does my compad look like? Is it like an arm thing? Is this like Kim Possible or something? Like,
How do you want it to look?
like I don't know.
Configurations.
I would want it to be in like an arm thing because that just sounds really cooler. Like, let me pull out my compad. It's
So you have a data pad. It's got to be big enough that you can display. So I would actually say
yeah,
that
like down the arm or something.
it's down the arm. It actually
That sounds
when you can type in it's small, but when you type in a command, it actually expands out for other navigation you need
That
to
sounds awesome. I like
Yeah.
it. Okay.
There you go.
So I'm either using Spoogle Maps or TripAdvisor, whatever works.
So
And I, put in this information.
Yep. So
Yeah,
she gets directions to the 123 Fuck You motel.
That sounds like a non-hotel.
How many stars does it have? What are the reviews like?
It has half a star.
Right, how many
Cockroaches
this is
are this
21st century. How many galaxies
What are the
does it have?
instructions they gave us, Jimmy?
Sorry.
who?
Does that bring us to like?
Yeah, what does she pull up on Space Trip
Does that
Advisor?
give us like a crappy hotel, or is it like?
TripAdvisor offers you basic accommodation rates in the city. Maddie, you would already know that anybody who's flying economy class, so to speak, into or out of, they stay in what are called what did I call them? They're called like skids.
Skids, nice. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, spits. That's
Sounds
what they're
like
called.
a
They're called
coffin you sleep in
spits.
for a night.
They're basically like anybody who doesn't have a lot of money on hand pays to live in a spit, which is basically a large, enormous tenement, like a bunkhouse.
Okay.
That's where dock workers would stay.
It's like a
That's
hostel.
where people who are it's a hostel, but just on a very large scale.
Okay, yeah.
You would know it's about 25 credits a night per person.
Okay.
To stay in your own accommodation where you have your own four walls and a door and furniture or whatever, it's 200, 300, 400. Depends how close you are to the center of things.
Place is expensive.
What about the instructions the military
yeah,
people gave us?
what does the instruction pull up for us?
What instruction? I'm sorry.
The thing that Colonel What's-His-Face gave us. Colonel Zaro, he gave us a card for specific accommodations.
Yeah.
Yes.
That are probably bugged up to shit, but they probably don't cost 25 gold a night.
Yeah, so it's a link. Maddie, you recognize it as what's one of the few middle class districts. It looks like it might be some sort of guys think suite accommodations in a dorm room, not quite middle class, but your own space, probably enough room for the four of you.
Okay.
And does it indicate prepaid? Show your card at the desk.
This one's on us.
It just kind of gives you an address right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the card you have has a little chip embedded on it too,
Yeah.
so you could go check that out.
Duh.
So I after Maddie tells us that, I'm like, well, does someone want to check that out? See if it's prepaid, because that would be nice.
We'll check it out after me and insert name here. Selfie, that's it. God dang. It's so different. Yeah, when me and Selfie try and find Deanne. By the way, I don't suppose you can be able to pull up City Hall or Town Hall where that might be located around here. Like a government office, government,
I mean, it's probably up there at the upper city, right?
That'd be the military. I'm more local. Like a local government official office. Like a town hall or city hall.
So the main government points of contact would be the customs office, basically.
Yeah.
Anybody who
Customs
needs
office.
to, so you'd go that way. And yes,
yeah, I
Travis,
get
just a
questions.
second. Okay, so what are we doing? What's going on?
So do we have directions for the?
Okay, so
This
I've got
hotel
right now
Holiday
that
Inn.
somebody's going to go check out the address of what Colonel Zaro gave you. Somebody's going to the customs office. Somebody's going to legal, and what's the fourth doing? The legal's actually in the customs
Well,
office.
Yep, one's
I
tracking
was-
down Deanna. So I think Leon was going after Deanna. I was going to, Leon, you were going to customs, right?
Yeah, I thought I was going with Selfie, and then
Yeah,
we're going to
I'm
go check
going
out
with
the dress.
Leon.
Okay, so you two are doing Deanna and customs. I'm going to legal, and Maddie, I think, is checking out the apartments.
Yeah, and I was also gonna look up rates to get to Manisha.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so why don't we execute all those actions after a short break?
Yeah,
Awesome.
let's do
A
it.
short
Wait,
break or a longer
is this
break?
your break you need to take, Jimmy? Or
No. So their flight is still delayed. So
oh shoot! All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back in 5 or so minutes. See you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.